There has been this recent complaint about how the superhero genre oversaturates the market when it comes to the movies in the theater, and to a point I do agree with that sentiment. The superhero genre is the most successful movie genre right now, and even if there are signs that it's slowing down, it's still a very popular genre. It is still the genre with the best box office statistics. It is still the genre that most people go to the theater for. So why is that? Well, Marvel especially, they aim for a very large demographic. It is everything between kids, adults, comic book fans, non-comic book fans, action fans, and also for people that look for the big spectacle when going to the theater. I myself go to most of the Marvel movies that get released in the theater, because out of the very many movies that they released since 2008, most of them are good movies with some exceptions here and there. But I'm also starting to feel the fatigue. They just aren't as interesting to me as they were before. Also, most of them have the same structure to their stories, where you have the hero learns how to use his powers, meets the villain, and then by the end there is a big CGI fight where a whole city gets destroyed, and it is starting to feel repetitive. After seeing these movies for almost 2 decades now, I want something more. I want a story that is structured in a more creative way. I want a character that is a bit more special and more well developed. I want a more contained storyline that is not about that the world is at stake or that the whole city is at stake. I want some more personal stakes. More creative storylines in how they play out. I feel there needs to be more creativity in the genre now, because by now I can basically figure out how the movie will play out in general. Don't get me wrong, many of the comic book movies are fantastic, but most of them have a formula that is very predictable. And that is an issue that Marvel or any other studio that are making superhero movies have to figure out. Otherwise, the genre is at risk to just be forgotten by the general audience, even though the most hardcore comic book fans always will turn up to these movies, no matter how stale and predictable they get. There is hope with movies like Matt Reeves' Batman and with James Gunn's plans with the DCU. Hopefully they get to do the movies they want to make and that they can change the genre a bit when it comes to what kind of stories that are being told. The studios will have to change up the formula or see the vast majority of audiences leave the genre because they are getting a superhero movie every month and they are almost all built up in the same 3-act structure. Until we get more movies like the Dark Knight trilogy, the Batman, Logan, or even for that matter, the Spider-Man trilogy with Tom Holland, that dare to have isolated stories to them that are not on a world-threatening level for the most part, which also makes them more interesting. The biggest problem is, especially for Marvel, is that each movie builds up to something else in the future, so you rarely get the full story with one movie. The focus should be on telling a good story in one movie instead of it being a build-up to something else. You can build up to something else, but you must make sure you are telling a good story in the movie itself. So when it comes to superhero movie fatigue, I do think it is existent, but not if you actually make an effort and make a good movie with a good story first. Characters that are well written and that you care about what is happening in the story on a character level instead of a world-threatening level, which kind of feels a bit too big in most cases for it to feel personal for the characters involved. With this video, I'm not really trying to be negative about the superhero genre as a whole, but I do feel that the genre has to put in more effort in making the stories a bit more in-depth. The characters more well-rounded and focused on telling good stories in a movie-to-movie basis, instead of thinking about the next chapter or thinking about building a cinematic universe first. And yeah, I know that they are trying to emulate the concept from the comics, where you have many stories being told and expanded upon through several issues, but comics and movies are two totally different mediums, and they should be treated like it. With this video, I wanted to delve deep into why I feel a bit tired of the comic book movie formula. Not really trying to be overly negative about it, because when it's great, it's really great, but I can't help feeling the concept is starting to feel a bit too formulaic lately, and I think trying to tell different kind of stories where it doesn't end with a huge battle in the end would be a great start to reshape the formula and try to save the genre and the quality of it. This has been Boogeyman Cinema. If you liked this video, it would be great if you subscribe to this channel and get notifications when I upload a new video. Thank you for watching.